So I just wanted to bring up that there's a little article in the Costco magazine, and I read through it, and I was a little disappointed that they didn't mention Tai Chi as one of the things that you could do as, maybe helping with the motor skill and prevention. But actually a lot of people don't realize, because Tai Chi is not as big as it could be, across the country. So people that haven't experienced it might not really know. So that's, not taking it personal. I just wanted to let you know that when you read the article, if you see it, then, the reason is because maybe there's not teachers out there. So this is actually a great format for people that don't have access to it and don't want to do the boxing or the ballroom dancing or maybe even playing an instrument. So, that's good for everyone to be exposed to this. So if you can share it with anyone else that you know, it would be great. They can access it through our website, through the Parkinson's Foundation. There's links there, and also possibly just go into YouTube and look for Tai Chi Paradigm for Parkinson's, and they'll have access to the tutorials as well as the live stream classes that we're doing. Hope everybody's gaining from the streaming, and also be able to follow up more than the 2 or 3 times that you were coming. And I know some people couldn't come 3 times, so you can do it at least 3 times now. So let's start with our feet shoulder width apart. That's created by pivoting on the toes of the feet, starting in this 90-degree position, and we bring our hands up like this. This is your circle hoop position, turning. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, let's get the hands here, one on the waist. This is mirror image, so we just go in the same direction that I'm bending. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 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 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands up. About shoulder height. Reach down. If you have you're a little bit tight or stiff, just slide down the leg if that helps. Go as deep as you can, then move to the right, and then move to the left. When we get back in the center, we're going to inhale as the hands go up with the palms facing up. And flip the hands down and press down as you exhale. Okay, let's lift the hands. Go down, stretch a little, relax the muscle. Stretching is all about relaxing and releasing the tension in the muscle. So you have to actually pay attention to what you're trying to do when it comes to relaxing. And inhale, exhale. So when you go into a stretch, you kind of breathe out, and that helps you let go. It kind of inhibits what we call the stretch reflex, and that kind of allows that reflex not to kick in and tighten. It kind of lets it release. So that's a mindful control. You have to kind of mindfully think of releasing and relaxing. So that's everything that we're doing. Release and relax. Get all the tension out of the joints. Tension out of the joints helps you move much, much better. Okay. So we just did that stretch. Now we're going to do the circular movement. So this isn't much of a stretch, but there is a little bit of give and take. So when we go like that, that is pushing this out and then turning. So we're making a circle. So we say everything involved with voluntary movement is a motor skill. So to make a nice circle, an even circle, and the correct size circle has to do with how this feels when you're going through the motions. Now we're going to reverse it. So to do this, you actually have to let go and relax to take out the tension in the joints and also allow you to create that roundness. Okay, center. Now we're going to cross the forearms, hold the kneecaps, and we make circles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and switch. Switch the hands. Go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, hands on your waist. Okay, now we're going to turn the head to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's go back and forth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Center, tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Center, down. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Hands up. Pull in, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Now we're going to turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, let's pull the heels together. Hands on your waist. And I'm going to face the mirror, and I want you to follow from behind. Okay, so when I straighten the foot, that's squaring up the stance. Okay, rest your hands on your waist and pull the heels together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to center. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. Okay, shake that out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So I do that drill every class, and I do it in all of the Tai Chi classes, occasionally more with the Parkinson's than some of the other classes, because of the importance of learning to pivot your feet. Pivoting your feet actually helps you change directions. So when this foot goes like that, it wants to go that way. This way goes this way. So we have this by pulling the heel in and turning. So we combine this and back to center, and this. This is taking two of those components and learning to move in a direction. So you want to turn a corner or head in another direction. The simplest way is to pivot your feet. So that's something that I want you to get accustomed to doing. Now, your feet can pivot on the heel, or it can pivot on the toe, the ball of the foot. So the more familiar you are with that and the more comfortable you get with that, the easier it is going to be for you to change directions and be a little bit more mobile directionally than to constantly think of the forward direction. And the forward direction's the direction we normally would walk. And that's really pointing your toe in a forward direction. So the pivoting becomes something that really is a training tool. And then, when we walk and we pivot, now we have a distinction between the ball of your foot and the heel of the foot. So you can actually learn to move in different ways. So you can do that any time of the day, just do a few pivots here and there, and you start to get more comfortable. Because as we build this network of transitional type movements, it becomes you're somewhat conscious of it, or at least you learn how to do this. And it very systematizes how we approach a lot of these strategies of movement. So that's why we do that. It's not just the fact that we're forming squares and triangles, it's because we want to define the geometry of our position so that we can understand how our skeleton is working. Because, motor skill is exactly that. It's moving our body specifically as our mind is directing it. So the mind is the director, the body is the performing part of that. So we understand that idea. So that's voluntary movement. The mind directs it. It is a motor skill. You have motor neurons that say, well, this is what has to happen. And then it gets programmed up in here. It gets a file of movements, and then you kind of draw off of that to use it. So what happens when you don't use it? Even if you have the file, it kind of gets suppressed or it goes away. So when we learn something, if you don't do it over and over again, the tendency is to forget it. Now, when we do something this day in and out, something like this, it becomes something you're conscious of, and it also becomes part of the habitual side of learning. It becomes part of you because, it enters a behavior, a subconscious behavior where you don't really think about it. That's the problem when we go to a point where we learn something and stop thinking about it. We really, if you didn't learn it, really can't recall how it's done. So that's really one of the issues that we're dealing with. Okay, so let's do them shoulder rolls, and this is to free up your torso, get some of this moving. When we want to avoid rigidity and stiffness, what do we have to do? We have to move those areas that want to become stiff. And you reverse. So you have to be mindful of it, and you have to really try hard. If you have trouble making a circle, you have to keep doing it. And eventually you make a breakthrough, and the circles become easier to do, become rounder, and the size of it, it's not a very big circle because your shoulders can only move so much. Okay, next, this one's an easy one. You're just going to swing the arms, just let them hang, and you press to the back, let it go to the front, exhale on the back, so exhale, inhale. Breathe through your nose. Exhale, inhale. So just think of this. When I say exhale and inhale, that's taking a breath in and letting that breath out. When I press my hand back and go forward, that's a motion that goes back and forward. And I say exhale, inhale, if we take it out of the context of doing the movement, you're going to say, what did he say? Did he say exhale on the front stroke or the back stroke? So it's very hard for you to make that connection unless you do it. So you press exhale, inhale, and do it like that, and then the breath and movement will actually become second nature. You're going to exhale and inhale, and you don't really have to think about it. Because if you try to memorize whether it's forward and backward and breath and movement, you're going to have some trouble. So just exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And believe it or not, after a few sessions, it'll just happen. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale up on your toes and down. Inhale. Up on your toes. Inhale, up on your toes. Exhale, let the heels down. Okay? Now we're going to do these circles right in front of the body. Fingertips are here. That's your circle, your hoop. Bring it to vertical, bring it out to the side, and bring it down and scoop up to the low position. And we're just going to do it over and over again. But then every time your elbow folds, you want to fold your knees. So what I call that, it's called upper-lower coordination. Okay? Upper-lower coordination is pretty simple to remember that. Your upper body and your lower body become synchronized. So anything that's synchronized means it's working together. So we want to build that integration and relationship between the upper body and the lower body. Okay, now here, let's go to the other direction. Okay, and down. Palms down. Going to make a big circle from the shoulders. 1, 2, relax the shoulders, and then straighten it up over the top. 1, 2, 3. Now, once the hand is up here, drop it the other way. 1, 2, 3. Go the other way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, so that completes that series of exercises. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's shift the weight over. Bring this foot next to it and then balance. Let's go to the other side. Bring this foot next to the supporting leg and just go straight out. Okay, so that just gives you an idea. Once you're supported here, try to feel comfortable and then bring it out. Now, if you have trouble doing this, you can use your counter, your kitchen counter or the end of a table or even a chair. You hold the back of the chair and you find that position. And then you lift the leg to balance. So we're like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like to do this, without the chair so that you can see that there's a balancing and a relationship with the hands and legs. Because when we move, it's sort of like marching. You want to be connected so that you can do the lift. Okay. So you lift and hold, lift and hold, lift and hold. So that works these muscles, and it actually gets you to shift, stabilize your body, and then get your hand moving so you can multitask by doing that, all right? Now we're going to do this, swing the arms. I'm going to turn, face the mirror again. I'm going to swing the arm, and I'm going to get my right foot out when my left hand is up. And then I do this. So I just switch and back. The hands and legs should be working together so that you can keep the upper body freer to move. Relax your back, let it twist, relax the torso, and let it move. Okay. Now we do the other side. One. Now when my right hand goes out and my left leg goes forward, it's like this. Okay, center. Go to the side. So this is actually in like this, okay? So you go opposite and then merge in the middle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2. Go out to the side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2. So you notice when my hands go out like that, my leg goes out, there's this center point right where the supporting leg is. There's a structure there that keeps you in a vertical position. So that's what you're doing, is heightening your awareness and your sensitivity to the position, and also counterbalancing the motion. So balance is the most important thing. Even in movement, there's balance. So in movement and balancing is really heightening your sensitivity to what you're doing with your limbs, and also developing the feeling and a relationship of what your body has to do to accommodate those positions, because it is a manipulation of your skeleton. Your skeletal structure has to be manipulated to create the action is one thing, but then also to develop positioning sensing. So you have to position yourself. So that's proprioception. And then when you move and you deal with kinesthesia, moving within the realm of your space, it's really building complex movement, which is making your body work as a unit. And then, that complexity develops some spatial awareness, because you know not to go out too far, you know not to keep it too small. So you have to balance that relationship between space and movement. And everything that we're doing really evolves around our space. So if I'm walking that way, the important thing is know where I'm going, how big a step it's going to be before I get to where I'm supposed to go. So you're always measuring and calculating what is going to happen next. So that's kind of what we're doing when we're building, this network of information up here, so that we can direct our body to do what we would like it to do, whether it's moving from one point to another, or direct our body to twist our shoulders or move our shoulders because we're starting to feel a little bit tense. So to avoid tension, you learn to move, and eventually your body will kind of respond, rather than just staying in some of the positions that are probably not beneficial. Okay, Let's try the deep breathing again. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now we're going to do the Sacral Link. So that's getting our feet. If you're comfortable widening your legs like this, you have this alternating leg position. So you see how the knees alternate. If you put your hands on your thighs, you could feel that they're changing. Okay? Now, this is hold the ball. If you have trouble finding that, go like this, shoulder hip, turn your palms up, and you go forward. We sit back and we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you get the sequence of events that happen, there's 5 hand positions, and there's only 2 positions, forward and back. And then there's a torso position where it's side to front. So those items have to build some spatial continuity, to build spatialness within the realm of this movement. So that's really referencing your body and where it has to go. Okay, now we're going to do it on the other side. So everything to do in our training is to develop somewhat of an accuracy of movement. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sit back on 5. So when we turn, we end up like this, ends up holding the ball. We split and separate the hands in a lean position, and then when we drop this hand, we turn our body, and then this hand is facing that way to do this, and then we turn this way. So you see your body starts to build, this order of movement, and it's a synchronization working within the realm of that space. So that's, really building some integration of body is one thing, and the spatial awareness of that space that you're moving. And then you get more comfortable when you're turning or moving. That's something that we don't pay attention to, mainly because we do a lot of sitting. Most of the things that we do, you're not in a mobile position, but more of a, I'll do this now over here, I'm going to do that over there, I'm going to do that over there. But when you do something like this, you're moving, and it's just going to be building these patterns and sequential type things in your system, because everything that we do is somewhat like that. It's timing, sequential. Just the timing in the day. It starts in the morning and it moves on. It just keeps ticking away. So our body can learn to move like that as well. When we take one step, then we shift, and when we take the next step, we shift and take the next step. But the thing is, that's pretty complicated, because first we have to step forward and balance. So between this and this, you have a relationship between the foot and the ball of your foot. When I roll this foot over and I move it forward, I have to balance there, put the heel down, and then roll off the ball of the foot until the weight is over that. That's a simple step, but it's not so simple, on the the mechanical side, because we don't really know or pay attention to what's actually happening until you soften the legs, soften your feet, then your body starts to become much more aware. So if we have trouble walking, standing, turning, all of these concepts has to be practiced. So I call specificity of training. Whatever you want to improve, you have to do that. That's the only way you can learn it, mainly because motor skills are learned that way. You voluntarily think that this is what you would like to do, then you have to kind of train your body, and it goes through the motion, and it starts to feel and decide what actually has to happen. Now, that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that there's a process in learning. It's not you just jump in there and start to do it. That's just walking, but if you were learning to play a sport, or you're learning, outside of the rules, you have to learn to move your body. Something that most of us don't do systematically, as we go through life, because when you're a kid, you play sports. But you're not really learning to play at a very high skill level unless you're an athlete, or unless you're playing that sport specifically for a team that their end goal is to win. But the thing is, to be a good kicker, or whatever else you're doing, could be, good skater. You have to do that specifically to get good at it. So balance, when we work from side to side, is all about developing that. All right. So from silk reeling, we can go to a cross hand position. We move. I'm going to do this from the mirror side again. I think it's easier for you to follow. I have this foot forward. Most of the weight is here, and I cross. We'll open, close, open, close, open, close. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is called opening and closing. And I want to take you through a few of these. And I do a lot of different exercises so you don't get exhausted or overwhelmed by doing the same movement over and over again, because you're going to get tired and maybe sore if you're doing it, with a bit of tension. So we cross, and then it's open, it's about shoulder level. With each class, I point out something, and you may not be able to do it right away, but when we open, this hand is straight, meaning that this elbow is straight. This hand is curved, meaning that it's round. So you have one of each, and you cross. Now they're both like this. Then we open, and both palms are facing the same direction, and we cross. Okay? And then while we turn, we drop down, and then we lift. So there's a lot of things happening with that simple exercise. And the reason why I do so many movements and such complex movements for someone that's just picking up on it, because I think by doing the movements, you get the experience of doing a multitude of things, whether it's opening and closing. And essentially, we're doing the same thing in different body, leg positions, but your body over time will build, some complex ideas up in here. So the more, files you have in here, the more you can draw off of. If you're sitting around all day long and doing nothing, everything starts to diminish, and your skill level, meaning whatever is involved with that motion, will go away because your brain thinks it doesn't need it. So what you feed your brain is what is part of that training. What you feed it here will feed it here, and then the brain will develop the network of wiring to do those specific motor skills. And if you have, built a network of this building and it's constantly evolving, that's a big benefit. So don't look at these movements as overwhelming and too much to learn, because you constantly have to feed your brain, constantly building that brain plasticity, constantly heightening the understanding through building this network of the neurons and all the wiring in your body to do these voluntary movements. And, that's how I look at it. I look at it as, not just stand there and do standing meditation. That's not moving. You have to move. I know quite a few different types of breathing exercises, but regardless of what you do for meditation or energy cultivation, you need to move, because movement is a motor skill. You could breathe and stand for 20 minutes, but that doesn't help your movement. You have to move because movement is functional. You have to do a task with it. That's the only reason why we move. We have to move to feed ourselves. We have to move to walk. We have to go to the bathroom. everything that you do requires some type of a motor skill. And everything that you do as a motor skill is trained and learned from the experience that you've gained from doing that specific task. So that's why, I look at everything that I teach and everything that I do as something that has practicality to it, practical movement, whether it's walking, standing, whatever you have to do. There's a purpose for that. So do your movements with a purposeful concept, an idea that this is what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so we just did the opening and closing. Well, let's do it on this side. Opening and closing. Okay, now the next one is actually fairly simple. It's shoulder width. We lift the hands up like this, and we're going to do this. This is called preparation. It's the beginning movement, and you're making a circle. And if you look from the side view, you're doing this. So it's a circle, and that's all it is, right? But how do you create that circle? You have to fold your elbow, relax your wrist, and unfold everything and let it extend. So what you're doing is you're creating a wave of a movement. And it does take coordination to build that wave of movement. And as you're building that movement, you're creating a motion. Can you imagine if you were sitting in a wheelchair or sitting in a chair and you had to take that wheel and move it? You would go like this, right? So it requires your arms to move in a circular fashion. Then you have to change, and then you have to move. Can you imagine if you're holding your position in a steering wheel? You wouldn't be able to do this, but you would be able to do this. So that's like reversing the ball. So everything you'll do is kind of in a space, and how you move your skeletal structure is what creates that motion. So preparation is simply that, right? Now let's go into this, which is standing meditation. Now this is the stillness. So we have to have both. We just can't do this all the time. That helps in one respect. What does this do? It's learning this circle. And when your body learns something, what happens when your body learns something? It learns to become comfortable and natural. What is that? It takes away the excessiveness and the tension, the erroneous muscular tension that's not necessary to hold this position. So that's one of the goals. It's not for endurance. Endurance, you would do this holding, building with this position using weights or resistance, but we're not doing that. We're building motion to avoid resistance and tension. We want to develop the idea of being in a position without using any strength. So that's one of the major concepts that's different from many of the other disciplines. We don't want to use strength. That's actually something very difficult to understand. So it's not using strength. It's using the correct amount of strength. So I think it's more important than ever to understand what that feels like, okay? So you have to let your body release and unwind all the tension in the body and allow your body to form these shapes. This is really the triangle. Then we lower, and I'm going through this so you can do this even on your own. Now here you lift your back. And extend. Hands up, deep breathing, exhale. Okay, shake it out, relax. So that's, first part of the exercises. Now we're going to go into some of the posture training, and we just did Sacral Link, so I'm not going to go into the diagonal flying. We're going to go right to cloud hands, and it's a circular movement like this. We did this with the knees before, right? So now we're just going to do the vertical elbow on one side, switch, and then do the vertical. So this is called cloud hand movements, and we turn. So essentially all it is the two circles, offset the timing on one side, and then swap to the other side, and that's all it is. It's just moving from side to side. This is a mirror image, so your hand is actually going in this direction, and then it goes to this direction. Now if I turn, I'm going to go in this direction and this direction, and I'm just going to move to the side a little bit. And actually what I just did, that's actually the footwork in cloud hands, but we're just doing the upper body rotation. Okay, good. And then palms down. So when we move our hands like this or hold these positions, you could actually feel a little bit of sensations in the palm of your hand and in your fingertips. That's your circulation. So the other critical and most important thing about movement is to improve your circulation. And why do we need to move our body so we improve the circulation? Because without movement, you're not going to get oxygen, to flow throughout the body, because that's supported by your circulation and the blood flow. So you want oxygen to go to your brain, you want oxygen to go out throughout the cells in your body, and then it supplies nutrients to all of your body. So it's to maintain this healthy lifestyle, you want to actually move more, not forcefully, gently, because you don't want to create inflammation in the body, and you don't want to create rigidness in the body, because that could happen just, with the PD, that could happen, or it could just be happening because of an age-related type degeneration. So, the rigidity, the stiffness that your body, it's just a natural course of aging. So you want to avoid some of that through developing better movement and understanding how to move efficiently and using soft movement, and at the same time stimulating circulation throughout the whole body. That's really the most important part of getting, this action, because everything has to be circulated by the fluids in your body. So you have to work toward that goal, is to improve circulation, whether it's swinging your arms, swinging your legs. All of these things are helping you to, move your musculature in different ways, work all the joints in your body. And while we're building all of that, your joints have ligaments and tendons, all of those are moving. You need to keep those supple. And, so like people that have arthritis and so forth, Tai Chi is actually good for moving those joints gently, because stiffness and inflammation ends up in the joints. So we want to move the body. That's, the whole premise of everything that we're doing, is to move and develop good patterns and using your strength correctly. Okay, let's bring the palms together and then bring it down. So this is called carry tiger to the mountain. So we have the lower hoop, the upper hoop, and palm out. Cross the hands and then lower. Okay, now I'm going to lift up. This is called upper hoop, palm out, cross hands. This is called carry tiger to the mountain. It's a name that identifies these movements. It's also something that some of the movements inside as a transition inside the Tai Chi form. So you just follow it, visually watching the hands go up. So that's your hoop. Goes up to about eye level, and then elbows drop, and you cross right about where your sternum is, or your solar plex, and then it opens up to here. Okay, so that's the vertical line. Here's the upper hoop. Now you cross through your center and continue to let your elbows drop until you get to the lower hoop. Okay, so let's carry Tiger to the mountain. And, whether you think you're getting a real physical workout, you are moving and engaging your musculature to create these movements. Okay, so there's a balance. And then we go to the next position. This is the infinity sign. Okay, center, hands here, form the fist. So your fingertips are pointing up, roll your wrists, and when you roll the wrist, actually the wrist doesn't really turn as much as you think it could to make that circle. It's really, I call it the summation of components. If your elbow and your shoulder and your fingertips become part of that movement, then your hand will create this circle. And that's forming the fist. And then when you get it to here, you have to kind of fold the elbow and then extend. So it's really a multi-dimensional movement. Then we're going to go to this palm position like this. Here's your triangle. We had it like this before, and we have it like this now with the palms together. We separate the hands on the center line. So you say, well, where's the line? If you look in the mirror, you see all those black vertical lines. You notice that my hand goes down and follows a line in front of my body. It's actually parallel or runs in the same vertical direction as those black lines on those panels. So, when we do movements in space, it's really referenced with other, items in your space or in your room, whether it's outdoor or indoor. If you see vertical, it's vertical. If it's horizontal, it's horizontal. So I go like this, thumbs up. I call this horizontal elbow. That's just to define your elbow position. Now, this is not the horizontal elbow. This is. Okay, so if you didn't relax your shoulder, your hand's just going to do that. So what you have to do is lift your elbow and let this joint release so that it goes up. Because once it goes up, it comes back down. So that's what happens when we do this exercise, vertical to horizontal. We're going to just flip the elbows. Okay, so now our hands are actually working together, right? But they create opposite motions, vertical to horizontal, kind of offset. Okay, so one's doing one thing, the other's doing another thing. If I did this, that's vertical to horizontal, but it's different when you're creating an action using a relationship between the two sides, like reversing the ball, like many of the things that we do. It's a relationship where there's balance. So that's kind of, and then also because we're doing two different things, one on the right, one on the left, it's a little confusing in the beginning, and then you have to let the muscles work accordingly so that you can create this action. That's very good for your shoulder. A lot of people have shoulder problems because they don't actually rotate it, because they only lift like this, and when you lift and you don't release, you're going to have a conflict in your shoulder. You're going to throw your ligaments and so forth out here. You're going to pinch a nerve and you get a frozen shoulder. All of those things happen from too much tension. So you have to learn to move the shoulders correctly. Right? Deep breathing, hands up. Okay. Now we're going to bring the palms together. And we're going to turn to the side and draw. There's one, you see in the mirror, the lines, two. So we're working from behind, so you should be doing the same side that I'm doing. So you should be looking to the right. Now we're looking to the left. So this is called draw the bow. Look at the line. Look at the arms. This should be one straight line all the way across. If you're like this, then you have to lift the shoulder. Turn. turn. Okay, shake it out. So I'm going to face you and do a couple of those just so you can see what the hands do, even though we had the mirror. Now we're going to cross like this, spread the feet. This is called fan through the back. And we open. This is the front mirror image view. I'm going to turn around so you can use the mirror as a guideline. So this side is on top. This side is on top. So the upper hand goes on top, and then it opens, and we turn, and it goes to the side. So this is called fan through the back. So this is shoulder height, and this is in front of the forehead, right? Cross and open, cross and open. Okay, shake it out. Now we're going to just go up, raising the hand, raising the hand. So when we do this, it's really one up and one down, one up and one down, one up and one down. Okay, the reason why we do all of these movements is to align and stretch our ligaments and tendons so that our body becomes free. Instead of having shallow ligament and joint positions, then it gets too stiff and too tight. So expand, open up the joints and let everything open up. Because what happens is if these start to tighten, then the circulation, it becomes no good. So you want to use your movements to create that circulation. Now we don't use a lot of strength. A lot of people say, well, I go to the gym and I, do a lot of these type of exercise using whether it's a dumbbells. Oh, sure, that's great for working your muscles. I wouldn't even say you need it to build strength because, you could become excessively strong. You don't need to be moving, furniture and so forth. You can get someone younger to do that if necessary, but the thing is, or more physical to do that. What we need to do is build motor skill, build spatial awareness, build the idea of good circulation. So best circulation comes from the integration of your body, not so much in an isolated fashion. If you hold this and do this, that doesn't really do anything to make you somewhat stiffer. It's good if you don't do anything else. But if you're going to do something else, something like this would be more beneficial. Walking is more beneficial, not necessarily running or jogging, because that's kind of bad for your joints. So just walking doesn't have to be a tremendously fast speed, but when you walk, you're practicing your walking. And then when you walk, you practice a relationship between the hands and the legs. So walking, is better than sitting around. That's one thing, and it does develop some motor skill. But then stepping and conscious of what we're doing while we move our feet or turning is mainly to build additional ideas and also to create circulation in the body, freeing up the joints, aligning your ligaments and tendons. All right, now we're going to do this drill that I like to do, taking this circle. So it doesn't have to be big, because that will throw you off. Just in here, just about eye level, that's clockwise. Just think of a clock going like that. Counterclockwise is this, okay? Now I'm going to take 3 steps forward. I'm going to go right, left, right, and I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? Forward, 2, 3, so it's back, left, right, left, right, left, right. So this is very simple to do. I think people have, for some reason, they don't have trouble doing this as much as some of the leg swings and so forth, because that seems to be a little bit more coordination that's required to do that. But this seems like here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So it's only one circle with 3 steps. One circle with 3 steps. Remember, right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left, right, left. So you can recite that to yourself. So right is forward, left is backward, okay? So if you're in America, we drive usually on the right side and the left side going the other way. You know, if you're in Hong Kong or England, you might have the opposite side, so I can't say that it's always going to be like that. But we go for right, left, right, back, left, right, and left. So just think of that as a format. You know, that will help you work with that drill. You don't need a whole lot of room, because if I take 3 steps forward, okay, and I go 1, 2, 3, it's only that amount of space. It's actually only a little bit more than 3 of your foot lengths to go backwards. So that's something that you can practice just, you know, throughout the day. Just do a few steps forward and backward, get your body moving, get out of your chair, do some of those. The other exercises that we do them each class, because this is recorded and it's also archived. You want to do pieces of it whenever you have time. You don't have to do the whole class each time, because that might be too long, or you don't feel like sitting through all of that. So do it in segments throughout the day, and then you'll pick up on the different strategies of what we're doing with the Tai Chi Paradigm exercises. So I think, are we about? Okay, so the whole premise of doing all of these postures and so forth is to build the Tai Chi form. So with the Tai Chi form, I'm going to go through the first few movements with you. So this is preparation. That's why we do this. And if we actually do it several times. So this, it happens once. And then we always start on the left side and we move up. So here's your vertical elbow. And here's your horizontal elbow, and here's your press, which is connection. We take a step, we always toe out, so that's why we do the foot pivoting stuff. And you have you don't pick your foot up. You kind of rock and pivot off the heel. And then once you get into this position, we pass through center and step up. We put the heel down first, we drop the hand, and then we move to the center. Then we move to the center on the right side and we press. So that's called beginning style. If we did another step and step through, and you flip your hand, and you go to the left side again, then we also just repeated the same movement. So if we just do this step like this, you can see the hands and the legs have this relationship. So you see what we did there? The horizontal, the vertical, the transition, the hand going down and switching sides. All you're doing is moving from left to right side, right to left side, and there's the exchange from one side to the other. But what you're building is not just the fact that you go from left to right. You have a hand move, you have a sequential order to this, and all of that stuff will make sense and blend together as you start to practice this more and more. Because in the beginning, when you first try this, it's kind of daunting, it's kind of overwhelming because there's so much. But as you get familiar with it, recalling some of the names, doing some of the different exercises, that you'll start to recognize that they're all basically the same circular type movements in different formats or different angular postural positions. So posture is, like if I'm standing here like this is a standing position. It's a standing, it's a posture in a standing position. We're like this, or we're like this, or we're like this. That's an upright, erect position. It could be a military position, it could be whatever you call it, but it's a posture. When we go into a forward position and we have our hands here, that becomes a posture. These are all postures. So that's one of the phases that you'll have to go through, is identify the posture. And then that's really the final movement. And then when you build these mini sequences within a posture, say grassless sparrow's tail has 4 movements that are tied together to create the grassless sparrow's tail posture. So if you're doing the form already and you've been doing this class, go to the Tai Chi Paradigm in the morning classes and kind of pick up the sequence there, because I've been gearing this for newer people that have just joined in, that have come in from the Parkinson Foundation or through association with the community that might have Parkinson's. So it's open to everyone, so you can share this site and anyone that has Parkinson's should join in. I'll see you next time. You have the whole weekend to practice.